I would like to preface my statement by saying, just so I don't get in any trouble, that I'm here in a personal capacity, that the views I express here are mine, and I'm no way in speaking on behalf of the U.S. federal government.
Unfortunately.
Monsignor Sanchez-Sorondo, Gabriella, and the whole Pontifical Academy team, Dr. Jeffrey Sachs, Dr. Tony Annette, Sam, Jafar.
Can you bring up a microphone a little bit?
Oh.
Sorry. Yes.
And my friends at the Sustainable Development Solutions Network, and my fellow change makers and all of the supporters watching online. Thank you for this opportunity to return to the Vatican Youth Symposium and share with you my experiences from this past year and a proposal about how we should proceed to both engage the public and facilitate local action toward the Sustainable Development Goals. Brothers and sisters, last year I shared with you my firsthand experience with climate change, my upbringing on the shores of New Jersey in the United States, and how my Franciscan Catholic faith has led me to pursue a career in public service. I spoke about how, as young stewards of our planet, we must become disciples of the Sustainable Development Goals in an accessible and inclusive manner in alignment with our shared goal to leave no one behind. In the parables of salt and light, Jesus says to his disciples, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to all in the house." If you read the broader context in any of the Gospels, you'll see that Jesus is discussing the obligation of his followers to spread the word of God, to share the light with all who can see. I am thankful to serve at the Cathedral St. Matthew of the Apostle in Washington, D.C., where we are working to keep the light burning by making our community more environmentally friendly and conscious in alignment with Laudato Si, and by increasing transparency, accountability, and the involvement of women and lay people in the wake of the recent clergy sexual abuse scandal. I'm also proud to be working as an ally to my brothers and sisters in the LGBTQ community so that, together, we can ensure everyone has equal access to celebrate the light. We, as SDG advocates, have the same mission with the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, to share the global goals with the rest of the world. But how do we share the light of the SDGs to as many people as we can? What platform can we here create to lift up the stories of change makers and do the work of the SDGs, even if they are not using the UN lingo? The current model for SDG mobilization has focused primarily around expensive one-off events and social media initiatives, awareness campaigns, that fail to reach the already well-connected UN bubble. If we are to meet the challenge of the goals, everyone must have a role to play. We need to meaningfully engage this outside community to turn every citizen into an SDG advocate. Last year, the hosts of the symposium challenged us to create a project where we can work together to help spread the word of the SDGs. Over the past 12 months, several of us have met weekly, often more than that, to tackle the question of meeting the average person where they are. And I'm proud to return to speak to you this year about the project I've been leading with last year's symposium participants. Enter 2030 Today. 2030 Today is a multilingual web series and campaign featuring recognizable global leaders and the next generation of social entrepreneurs that aims to spur tangible, crowdsourced action from our audience, the average person, to advance social good through the lens of the SDGs. Each episode will cover an SDG-related topic, will be crafted for social media shareability, and will include tangible action items the audience can engage with at the click of a button. The actions will be deliberately crafted with key stakeholders and NGO partners to both customize and maximize the SDG impact related to that cause. For example, one episode may feature Nadia Murad and her initiative's work to support victims of ISIL's human trafficking efforts, or Malala Yousafzai and her fund's work to invest in young girls' education. Action items for these could include match donations with relevant trade associations or perhaps even Move Humanity's SDG donors. Another may involve working with travel companies to preserve UNESCO World Heritage sites for their patrons. A sample of our more unique ideas are in some of the packets that I've distributed. We will also use our platform to highlight the work and support the hyperlocal work of lesser-known SDG advocates and organizations, such as all of you here, showing our audience that they, too, can lead change in their communities. Following each episode will be a 2-week campaign related to each episode topic, featuring social media chats, live stream trainings, publicity stunts to keep the conversation going. the SDGs themselves will be a framing device and featured in all content. Though our target audience focuses on young people and organizations that have not yet engaged with the SDGs, we believe that the product we offer will offer a high return on investment to all who tune in by giving them access to high-level principles, SDG resources via an online hub, and trainings on best practices for social media and consumer engagement with the brands by leaning into the SDGs. As a result, social entrepreneurs, teachers, and students will be able to bring the SDGs into their boardrooms, classrooms, and campuses, and businesses will learn how partnering with 2030 Today can positively impact their bottom line too. Our marketing strategy is innovative, something I do not believe has been done at scale before. First, we will cover the basics. Through targeted press releases, op-eds, interviews, and social media drumbeats, we will ensure that our traditional media bases are covered. Second, we will leverage the megaphone of celebrities. We will publish content around relevant UN International Days, for example, publishing a refugee-related episode around World Refugee Day, and we will drum up attention with partners and with partner events and publicity stunts to ensure our content is both relevant and amplified. Third, we will partner and coordinate messaging with chapter-based organizations such as WAFUNA chapters, international scouting troops, and the social good arms of each social media company, and other charitable groups as part of a global strategy to ensure our hashtags, videos, and other content are consistently trending. With this three-pronged approach, in concert with our interactive web platform and actions, we believe this coordinated effort will yield significant public attention. And we are not the only ones who think so. First, raise your hand if you are part of the 2030 Today team or you have provided assistance to the project at one or more of our weekly meetings. Raise them high. There we go. So there are several of us. In addition to the team members you see here, we have brought on board a diverse group of young NGO leaders, social media and communications experts, a web series producer, and many more who, together, span nearly every continent and speak many languages. We are networked into the digital collective of social media companies and experts that work together to promote the SDGs. And how do we know we can get these high-level speakers? This project came to be, in part, because of the interest in SDSN's rebranding of the Meet Our Leaders series, live stream webinar series, which brought together some of the biggest names in the SDG world, including heads of UN agencies and major international corporations. Thinking of 2030 Today as the next iteration, we believe that our strategy will significantly increase engagement while taking comparable time from principals. One might say a professionally produced, multilingual, regularly broadcast web series will be expensive and take more than our small team of volunteers, which is about 20. We would agree, but in addition to staff, the production, marketing of a first season of episodes and the web platform would cost several $100,000. We have two solutions to this. First, we expect 2030 Today to be self-funding, primarily through partnerships, featured content, episode sponsorships, and payment received from streaming content on platforms such as YouTube. Second, we had the opportunity to preview 2030 Today earlier this summer at a gathering called Cohort 2030, hosted by two major foundations and a university over the summer. Julia was also present at the gathering. 2030 Today received a warm reception, and through follow-up conversations, one major foundation expressed interest in funding 2030 Today to the tune of several $1 million. And I have another conversation ongoing in that regard too. This funder is also interested in resourcing a network of chapter and membership-based organizations to coordinate collectively on SDG action on top of the investment in 2030 Today. We believe we will be meeting with them in the very near future to discuss specifics. When I talk to my family about the global goals, I tell them that it is an agenda to save the world. And with 17 goals, 169 targets, and hundreds of indicators, it is a challenging, complex agenda. I should know. I helped manage SDG policy for the United States federal government for the better part of this year. What I have learned is that the most important SDG impacts that we can make are not at the international or national levels, but at the hyper-local levels. The only way we achieve gender equality in the workplace is by working with businesses. The only way we achieve climate action is by working with innovators and frontline communities. Only by piercing the UN bubble to reach the average person will SDG action truly take root and lead to tangible change. We are blessed to have access to networks of change makers, levers of power, and the amplified voices of advocates who, together, are louder than any of us can shout on our own. We must build the largest and brightest platform we can to shine the light of the SDGs to every corner of the world. The thesis for 2030 today is simple. By coordinating our network for social media amplification, featuring household names and brands as guests, and creating simple yet meaningful action items, we will draw and retain both media attention and new audiences while facilitating tangible SDG action. Thank you.